Jim Hicks, Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. Yeah, it's lit in the Chop Shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based in debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30. Let's do a first take on Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Carter Ray, Skip Bayless, and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal to the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket, put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, he hit me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the Chop Shop, cause they cutting up. It's Retro coming to you live to the Chop Shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the Chop Shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the Chop Shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop.
H-Town, what's up? You know what time it is. It's time for the best 120 minutes of your day. The Chop Shop, the nation's #1 urban sports talk show, and also your midday sports happy hour. Yours truly, Robert Hatter, alongside Jim Hicks, coming to you live from Houston, Texas, but we're broadcasting all over the world. And guess what, Jimmy? It's a great day. Jimmy, let me tell you something. I had a good night's sleep after a great Super Bowl. A lot of great things happened last night. Over the weekend, you got you have a new Super Bowl champ, but you got Lamar Jackson wins the MVP on February the 1st. Okay, Patrick Mahomes wins the Super Bowl on February the 2nd. Jimmy, Black History Month got off to a great start. Got off to a great start. I mean, shout out to Eric Bieniemy, the Chiefs offensive coordinator. Jimmy Hicks, is a Super Bowl champion. Okay, and Jimmy, we'll talk about that a little later, but I don't like it because guess what? Now he got to do this thing again, this season, the coming up season for them to think about him as a job. Let me tell you, then I had want to get some tidbits out. They said Beyonce and Jay-Z and Blue Ivy, they sit down during the national anthem. I saw everybody was talking about that. And I want to ask y'all a question. Y'all know I don't like to get into politics, but anybody else notice that Trump and Bloomberg both feature black women in their focus on their Super Bowl ads? You know, those same black women who control the voting blocks. That very important voting block. Did y'all see that? I mean, if you didn't see it, I'm gonna tell you about it. But I had to bring that up. So Jimmy, what you got? Let's. I don't know where you want to go. I know we're gonna go first. We're gonna talk about the game, but I got some stuff I want to ask you about that's in your wheelhouse later. Grassroots basketball. I saw a tweet this morning, and I want you to explain that to me. What you got going on today, man? What's happening? You got to take your on mute, Jimmy. They got you on mute, baby.
And that's right. Now I'm
Okay.
good, guys. What's going on Monday? It's the the post Super Bowl, remember, as promised, we all can officially turn into Monday morning quarterbacks right now and share your thoughts about the Super Bowl. Did it meet expectations as far as, I know not as far as the amount of points scored, but however, it was definitely climatic as the Chiefs, and especially in that fourth quarter with 21 unanswered points. Guys out there, I want to hear from you. Did you have, at what point did you actually put the Chiefs in the hole? Did some of you guys start shoveling dirt on them in that third quarter?
Not me.
Some of you guys started shoveling dirt on them.
Yeah. Some of them people did. But
you know what? I came this close.
But that's you, Jimmy.
This close to putting out that my world famous tweet that I always, my cliche.
No such thing as a bad game in a big game.
It all came that close. I said, no, let me give it a little more time. And sure enough, the drive, when I'm telling you, I almost put it out and say, no.
So you finna jump on Mahomes.
Dude, he was having a horrible game. It was almost as if the Astros, the sign stealing crew was out there just stealing the sign. He was having an awful game. I'm talking Patrick Mahomes. And in comparison, they kept showing all the stats, the completion, the percentages of completions for Garoppolo. And he was almost playing a perfect game in that third quarter. At some point, he was like, had only missed 2 passes. And boy, then the bottom fell out. And you know what? The Texans fans, if you were a Texans fan and you didn't get some degree of satisfaction, say, well, see, they laughed at the Texans when you were up 24. You got my puppy in here today, guy. Yeah, well, I'm puppy sitting Sandra's.
Dude, you puppy sit every day, so you ain't sitting. That puppy live with you. They told me a long time ago when they live with you, you're not babysitting. But keep going.
That's Sandra's puppy. So that's and you guys know the puppy's name. She got the puppy last week for her birthday, and the puppy is named Kobe. In this case, you guys know. So the puppy is an English bulldog. It'll be turned 9 weeks old on yesterday. But back to this game, Herb Baker. I know he was down there just flossing. I'm talking about just balling out of control over Herb Baker. Shout out to you, Herb. I know I talked to Ricky Winslow this morning, and he said Justice Winslow, and he down there just partying while he's on his 2 week. He's about 2 weeks from returning back to the Miami Heat with that back injury. And but this Super Bowl, let's get right into
it. I'm glad you said what you just said, Jimmy. First of all, let's give him his prop, because I know you was about to jump off the bandwagon. Mahomes is 5-0 and trailing by double digits this season. 3-0 in the playoffs. Let's get that out the way. To me, the man is cold-blooded. Jimmy, we got to just get used to it. He that dude. He didn't play well until he did. Let me repeat that, because that's going to go all over you. Your bandwagoners, you no such thing as a bad game, and I'm always with the winning team type people. He didn't play well until he did. What he did last night was the hardest thing for anybody to do, Jimmy. He self-corrected. He had a self-correct mechanism. When you're sucking, sometimes when you're sucking in a game, sometimes you can't turn around. Sometimes when you suck and you keep on going, right? I'll give you an example. Russell Wilson, in, I think, 2014 NFC Championship game, he was horrible until he realized that, holy crap, I still got a chance to win this thing. And then after that, Jimmy, he went lights out. Then hold up, let me go to my boy, Tom Brady. In Super Bowl 51, he was terrible. In Charles Barkley's words, he was terrible. As they were down 28-3. Can't get no terrible than that, Jimmy. Then he get a sniff of a win, and he didn't miss after that. After Dante Hightower, I know Doug gonna remember this. Dante Hightower had a strip sack fumble, and that led to the greatest comeback in history. So, to me, Jimmy, the greatest quality of any athlete can have is realizing that I'm playing terrible, and I realize I have to, I got to flip that switch. He was remarkable after he flipped that switch. I mean, you can talk about what he did in the first half, but that's what I love about this game. And the Chiefs are scary. I'm gonna tell you something about the Chiefs to me, Jimmy. They like a college kid procrastinating until it's almost late for the test. You don't feel the pressure until it's 15 minutes to midnight in the paper due tomorrow. I know you'd have been there. Until they down double digits and yet again find themselves down in the third quarter and Jimmy needing a 3rd and 15 plus to win. Jimmy, remind me to tell you about them 3rd and 15 plus stats. You being a stat man, it's going to blow you away. But I'll let you comment there, and I'm going to come back with them 3rd and 15 stats that's going to blow you away. Come on. You're about muted again. Don't mute yourself. You muted yourself. Don't do that. We'll just listen to the dog. Don't mute yourself.
That ain't a dog. It's a puppy.
A puppy, whatever. We ain't going to worry about the dog.
It's Kobe, number 8.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And I mean, your 3rd and 15s, go on and get us.
Oh, you want to hear? Okay. All right. Okay. I wrote this down. Hold on. Let me see. I wrote it down. Okay. 3rd and 15 plus. On 3rd and 15 plus, including the playoffs for Patrick Mahomes. Okay. He's 13 of 17 for 299 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions before this game. 6 of those plays went for first downs or touchdowns. His QBR rating on those plays were 99.9 out of 100. All the other quarterbacks in the NFL in that same setting, Jimmy, including the playoffs, are combined quarterback rating of 4.7. In the Super Bowl heading into this game, on 3rd and 15 plus in the fourth quarter, teams were 0 and 37 in the history of the Super Bowl converting those plays in the fourth quarter on a 3rd and 15 plus. 0 and 37 in the history. And in the entire history of the Super Bowl, Jimmy, they are 7 and 21 on 3rd and 15 plus. That's the entire Super Bowl. I just gave you the other stat for the fourth quarter. I'm talking about the entire. They're 7 and 121 on 3rd yard and 15 plus. These are the kind of improbables that we were dealing with at play last night, y'all. The Chiefs had a 3% win probability, Jimmy. Jimmy, I love you. I know you love this. A 3% win probability at that point in the game. You thought it was done. Everybody thought it was done. But I promise you, I said, man, I can't count Mahomes out. So those were the stats for you behind about Mahomes. Why you jumping off the bandwagon? See, you didn't have these stats in the beginning.
You say jumping off the bandwagon.
Yeah, you said you was going to jump off the bandwagon.
Dude, jumping off the wagon doesn't mean if you calling and you're identifying.
No. You said you was going to throw him away.
No. I said I was about to put a tweet out and remind that I put out all the time. In all championship games, I remind folks, no matter what level it is, it ain't no such thing as a bad game in the big game.
Jimmy, you could have put out the tweet for Garoppolo and the coach.
At that time, the score was 20-10. So if you put it out at that time, that means it's angled toward Mahomes.
Well, do me a favor. Put it out now then.
No, that's not the issue right now. That's not the issue on that. During that game, it just reminded. And he He became Aaron Rodgers. He became Brett Favre. You know, the guys that was known for their fourth quarter heroics. And guess what? Now he's a Super Bowl champion. Remember, this is a quarterback that from Texas, up in East Texas, White House. That school used to be in the district with Nacogdoches and Lufkin and those schools right there. That's the district. Matter of fact, White House, if I'm not mistaken, I remember writing about them a few years back. They had a team that was pretty doggone good. I'm trying to think. I have to go back and look at my magazines and see if that was during Mahomes. I think he came out in 2004. Is it 2014, 2012, right around that time when he came out of high school. But anyway, man, it's great. It was a great showing. And now he becomes the third black quarterback to win the Super Bowl. Is that right? 3?
Say it again now.
Black quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl.
He is the what?
He becomes the second MVP, I think third to win overall. It's been 7 that's been there. I know 7 black quarterbacks has played in the Super Bowl. Right? And
them your facts. I'm not going to agree with them because I don't know them. I'm just hoping.
You say you're not going to agree?
I just not agree because I don't know. I don't know. But this your story. You tell this story.
It's not a story. I'm pulling this off the top of my head. I don't have a wrote down here to say.
Well, I'm not going to comment because I don't know.
So it's 7 of them. Now I'm saying that.
How many have won? I know Doug has won.
I said 3 have won.
So who
Russell
won?
Wilson won.
Doug Russell Wilson.
He won.
And him. Okay.
So 2 got MVPs because Russell Wilson didn't get MVP the year he won.
Okay.
So Doug and Mahomes MVP. So
I got MVP the year that Russell won. I don't remember.
I want to say
usually they give it to the quarterback.
I want to say the running back got it that year. I don't remember. But he did not get it that year. That he won. Russell's been there more than once. He won 1. And you guys in the Boom Boom Room, you helped me out in regarding it. I'm gonna look at some of the comments. There you go. Thank you, Trey. 3rd to win and 2nd to win MVP.
Yeah, he did win MVP. Yeah. Usually the quarterback give the win.
No. Russell.
So Doug won the MVP?
Yes.
I'm asking a question. Who won the MVP?
Doug.
When Russell didn't win. When Russell didn't win, who won the MVP? That's all I'm asking.
Well, that right there, while I'm talking, you can pull that up yourself right there. That's what I'm just saying that now the 7, we're trying to go and think of the 7 quarterbacks that's been there. We mentioned Doug. We mentioned Russell Wilson. Now Pat Mahomes. That's 3. Colin Kaepernick would be 4. Tight Britches would be 5.
Tell the man's real name, man. Cam Newton.
Cam Newton is Tight Britches, you guys know. That's 5. Dante Culpepper would be 6. And who would be 7? Who would be 7?
Did Steve McNair play in it?
Steve McNair would be the 7. That's the 7 black quarterbacks who have started in the Super Bowl. Put it like that, started. And you found out who won the MVP of the Super Bowl the year that Russell Wilson, that the Seahawks won. Who won the MVP? Now, you pulled it up yet? What's going on, John Smith down in San Antonio? And now the halftime festivity, as you get ready to pull that stat up.
Don't worry about it. Go. Don't worry about it.
MVP. We waiting on that. That's what I'm looking up. But anyway, this halftime performance, J-Lo and Shakira, where did it rank among your recent Super Bowl halftime performances?
On mine?
Yeah.
It was, I barely watched it. I barely watched it.
There were a lot of people that claimed it was their best performance ever. And you guys understand, this is an opinion and it's taste that goes with it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
In the past, it came down. A lot of people felt that Prince's halftime show was the best. Some people felt Beyonce's world famous Lemonade show was the best. And I think at some point in time, think about it. Uh, uh, this thing with J Lo and Shakira, it was great. It was great. If somebody feels the best one, it don't mean you cut the head off. I mean,
ain't nobody cut nobody's head. I just say I didn't watch it.
Anna, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the boom boom. I'm talking to the audience.
Oh, okay.
You didn't watch it, so I mean, you sit this one out. And so B. Scott says, no, not better than Beyonce. I only watched on Twitter, though. Janet Jackson, Wardrobe Gate was definitely number one. That Walt Yates says. I'm just saying, it's a lot of, I mean, if you are a Prince fan, then it would be hard for anybody to beat Prince's performance. And there are a lot of Prince fans out there, especially now that he's in the memory of, and think about the Prince had to perform. I didn't realize it. I realized when I watched it, but I had forgot about it. It was actually raining outside while he's playing in his performance, and Prince had on them heels. His dancers, backups had on heels, and the floor was slippery. So it was like, I was reading and listening to a rehash on his performance, and that is definitely, it was remarkable. Playing Purple Rain in the rain, outdoors at the Super Bowl, not missing a beat, and that house stayed intact. Michael Jackson was definitely one of the top ones. And I think that a lot of the times, notice, guys, when we start comparing them things, it always, think about this. It always results most of the time in us ending up comparing two or more of our own or minorities. Nobody ain't saying Maroon 5 was the best ever. We just know so Jay-Z is back in favor after hitting what I would consider a home run with his halftime. That was awesome. And the thing about yesterday, for those did you guys notice that J Lo was had the Puerto Rican flag? Puerto Rico, when she had the draped around her, and had USA on the opposite side, Puerto Rican flag represented. And that was a minority home run. I say minority meaning it to the fan base of Latin America and beyond. That halftime performance was spectacular. I'm looking at some of the comments now. Ashley says she liked that Latin performance. That was Latin performance to represent Miami. It was really good. Yeah, they do it all the time. I'm just glad they didn't bring Pitbull out there. I didn't see him because based on his, recent, accusations and stuff against Pitbull. So I'm glad he wasn't the face as the last time it was there. It was like it was Pitbull TV.
So what was so great about it to y'all? Y'all people talking about Jay-Z did well, and he had to admit that because of the Latin people, what was so great about it? That he put tribute to the Latin people. I'm just trying to, but what's so great about it? Since y'all said it was so great, I'm just trying to find what was so great.
The base. That's a base in Miami and the culture.
I understand that, but I'm talking about people in Miami. Just was in Miami. People all over the world watch the game. That's the most watched TV show all over the world. I'm just trying to see what's so great about it. That's all. What's so, because it did it in Miami, it touched in on Miami's heritage. That's why y'all said it was great.
Oh, I would assume, me speaking while waiting on some of the comments from the Boom Boom Room, that would definitely be one of the reasons. First of all, both of those women had a very greatly choreographed performance, both of them. And it was very creative.
I saw bits and pieces of it, but
J Lo brought her daughter out there and introduced her daughter to the world. That was the perfect slick way to do that. Her and Mark Anthony's daughter. He had a great voice for 11-year-old. So if and the way that they came, Shakira came, then J Lo came, and Shakira came back. which was kind of cool. I mean, it was just, and you can tell they were dynamically, they had chemistry. It appeared that those two girls really loved working with each other, and they were putting on a show. And Shakira, kind of like, you can feel that she wasn't trying to steal J Lo's moment at all. Because this was J Lo's the headline. Make no mistake about it. And you marveled at the fact that she's 50 plus years old, and she got on that pole hat and reminded me, that movie came out last year. I can't think of the name of the movie. Hustlers, I think that's what it was, and with the pole dance. So she got on that pole and did a little rendition.
Okay. So
it's good stuff.
So she can get on a pole, and the other girl can lick her tongue out at a microphone. But Janet Jackson, this boy pulled her thing off, and she get vilified for her Super Bowl halftime performance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And at the time when that happened, it was a turn. That was a pivotal.
I don't care what time it was, but I'm just saying, okay.
Understand, nowadays on TV, that's accepted now. On network TV, not even on cable TV.
Okay.
They say cuss words now on those stations. They didn't even say them. So free speech.
So Janet Jackson was a sacrificial lamb. For these two. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You can get on a pole. You can lick your tongue at a mic. And okay. I'm just checking. That's all. I'm just watching.
Absolutely. And that's, but so of course next year, thank you. I haven't confirmed it, but I think one of the viewers said next year, Lionel Garcia is in Tampa, Florida. So he's in Florida twice. Wow.
So what heritage are they going to do that to?
Well, Jay-Z is still going to be over it unless something happens.
No, I'm just asking. I'm talking about, I wonder what heritage he's going to put that to.
No, you got to come back with some American theme, something more American. Miami, that's their thing down there. So, I mean, that's like when they went to Atlanta. They played they tried to get the Outkast reunion. Remember that they played. You normally, whenever you get somebody whenever city you're in, you try to somewhat cater to that, whatever the music or the culture is in that particular city or region. So I don't know who's from Tampa that they were going to get, but if they can play it safe now, he does not require to hit it out the park now.
I got a question. Because Derrick Johnson going to ask me, I can't show breasts. You can't show breasts. I'm just saying, first of all, how many of y'all, tell the truth and don't lie, I was at the game and didn't see the breast. I never saw the breast. I never saw her actually breast. Every time I see a picture, it's covered up. So how many of y'all saw the actual breast? Since Derrick Johnson, you're going to say you can't show breast, had her. Did you see the breast? Janet Jackson's breast. Since you're the authority on whether you can show breasts or not, who was that? I said that. Derrick Johnson. Did you actually see, Jimmy, did you see the breast? I've never seen it.
No, at that time, not by the live eye. No, you didn't, you didn't,
And sentiments exactly.
I mean, and that's like in most people, in the live eye, it was a shock effect. Then when they start to replay, it magnified from a lot of the outlets when they replayed it in slow motion. Then they magnified it and zoomed in, and then went from there. But I think that the reason that the Janet Jackson situation, why it left such a scar was the fact that Justin Timberlake his career seemed to get a jolt from it, while Janet Jackson, her musical career had pretty much, I'm just saying, remember she ended up getting married, but at that time, I think people were still bitter at Janet because for her relationship, her previous relationship with Jermaine Dupri. And that they felt, a lot of people, it kind of felt like it. You can feel that she was reminding folks, that's getting a little bit too displaying too much of your blackness on the hip hop side. And so I mean, it's with I think right now,
You know what? I just think fans. I'm glad you said that. I'm just thinking fans need to get a life. if if you if you mad at somebody because of their hip hop, what you just said, she displayed too much blackness. She black.
Well, you know how that
Her
stuff.
mama black, her daddy black.
I say too much for some. Being in the hip hop culture, kind of like remember when J Lo had first came out, her relationship with Diddy seemed to sour a certain base of her fan. And she only had a few at the time, but that happens.
Wow,
that happens. Well, think about it. When Kanye first got with Kim Kardashian, it soured some of his fan bases at first. It happens. It happens. That's America. That's the world. It doesn't have to be America. That's just the nature of the beast for a lot of people. But once again, this past weekend, of course, that Super Bowl, we're still talking about the commercial, the halftime. Now we move over to the commercial effect. Any commercial that stuck out and served this purpose to be worthy of the $5.6 million for a 30-second slot on yesterday.
I like Walmart. Walmart, the Martian came down from the moon to pick up his grocery at the Walmart's new pickup thing. That stuck out to me. Walmart's, people from outer space was pulling up. Even a dog pulled up and got his grocery. I thought that was the most telling one. And I was at first. I had somebody charting them for me, and just charting all the commercials for me, and they just told me they didn't see nothing that would tickle my fancy, so I didn't. But that one, I saw the Walmart one, and I think that was I thought that was kind of cool, innovative.
One of the things I didn't, while we watched the game I didn't hear any of the commercials, so I just only saw them, and I didn't take the time out to go as I did last year and go back and watch some of them. I knew what was coming. By reading a lot of the views of the Super Bowl, that most of the commercials would be laced with celebrities this season. One of the ones I'm gonna need you guys to help me interpret, because I was just watching the video, of the commercial, and the audio. You had music playing. The DJ was playing music during the commercials. So explain to me this Nas X Doritos spot. Him and I forgot the actor, the white guy that was with him. Anybody can explain that explain that part to me? I mean, remember now, I don't know what was said, but I know Nas X. He's an admitted gay entertainer, and so the white guy during their joust, the white guy turned around and slapped himself on the ass. And I was wondering, did any of y'all catch that? I don't know what was said before that, but was that Doritos commercial? Was that directed toward Little Nas the gay portion of his fan base? I don't know. You guys tell me. And
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Clarence Harris say they made sure I continue to not like Doritos, the ranch Doritos. I'm telling you.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Bob.
And Lionel said, what about the Anquan Bolden on the Trump commercial?
I didn't see that either. I didn't see it.
And Kenneth Lofton say, what happened to Uncle Luke, Trick Daddy, Trina? They all in Miami.
Thank you.
Now, last time they were.
Thank you, there, somebody. Thank you.
Those guys did perform last time they were there.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. And I was just waiting on it because I didn't want to hop on it myself. I was just waiting on somebody. I mean, I just didn't understand. And guess what? It's not for me to understand. People enjoyed it. I didn't watch it. I wasn't paying no attention to it. So it's no big deal to halftime show. But what else you got? What other commercial you talking about? I mean, anybody else? Nobody else got a commercial? I don't. From what I hear from people who watched them all, they just said Robert did nothing really just stand out to me. But like I said, I thought it was very innovative for Walmart, the Walmart commercial. I'm giving them a shameless plug, but they trying to publicize their pull up. You can pull up the curb, I think, for free. I think you can just order your stuff and pull up the curb and get your stuff for free. And some people came all the way from Mars, and the dog pulled up, and the dog was driving. So I never seen that before, so that was kind of cool. So that's the only one I remember. What else y'all remember? I guess they were Jimmy. They probably was at parties with you, and they couldn't hear the commercials. See that?
Well, one of the things that I'm gonna post this link for you guys as to one of the reasons why you did not see Uncle Luke anywhere during the performances portion of the NFL halftime at all. And here's the link. I'm posting it for you guys right now. And there you go. And if you remember just a few months ago, Uncle Luke took public to shoot directly at Jay-Z and the NFL. So that's the.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So that's the when he called Jay-Z the token black guy.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. X him out.
So anybody that was affiliated as part of Luke's up under that umbrella, felt his sentiments was not going to, Jay-Z was not going to forget that. He was over.
Sonya Howard said she was at a hole in a wall and she couldn't hear the commercials. You know what I'm gonna do? I taped the game. I'm gonna go back and watch them, y'all, and I'm gonna go back and fast forward until I can't. But it was just, Jimmy, it was just some unique storylines in that Super Bowl, man. I think about Lamar Hunt. That was the guy who, you remember I told you about his wife and his son had a chance to hoist the Lamar Hunt trophy for winning the AFC conference. And now they got a chance to hold a trophy that he deemed, I don't know if y'all know this, but Lamar Hunt, the one came up with the name Super Bowl. He was his kids had a ball long time ago. I guess they used to sell a ball called the Super Bowl, and he came up with that name. I think Roselle was, I think, might been a commissioner back then around in that time. Roselle is one of those, straight rigid guys. He didn't like nothing. He just wanted to be some generic name. And Lamar Hunt said, "No, man, we got that." And guess what he predicted, y'all? Way back in the 60s, he said, "This game is gonna be the most watched sporting event and the most watched TV." Now he said the most watched sporting event on the planet. Guess what? Last night it was the most watched TV event on the planet. So, it was just 50 years since they won a Super Bowl. And what I like about it, Jimmy, and Jimmy, have you ever watched certain shows, if you watch certain advertisements, and they always talk about, instead of saying the Super Bowl, they call it the big game? Because
yes, it's trademarked.
Yeah, Super Bowl don't play that, calling that Super Bowl.
Yeah, Mattress Mac and all that. You notice he always say the big game.
Called the big game.
They encourage you. And now, in the past year or two, I've noticed more people must not be abreast to that, or they are totally ignoring it, because I've noticed more people that has been saying Super Bowl in their commercials or in that. Now, of course, if you're in the underground in one of those little cities or small town, it's going to be hard for them. They got bigger fish to fry. But most people know You're not supposed to say Super Bowl. And that is
even commentators, Jimmy. I'm talking about even commentators will call it the big game. I heard some people calling it the big game.
And that's different.
Yeah,
I'm talking about,
that's what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about for advertising. And I looked it up. And NFL do not play about that thing right there. Yes. And Ashley said something great. Ashley said, I thought people were protesting in the NFL. Let me tell you something, Ashley. Ashley, if you knew the demand of those tickets and those spots and those Super Bowl is big business, man. And I don't know if the people were, and I don't know, Ashley, and what do you mean, boycotting for Colin Kaepernick? Because you remember Colin Kaepernick got his money. So who we boycotting the NFL for now? Ashley, because I don't want to overrun your thing. Who are we? And Jimmy, did you notice how careful and how articulate no broadcaster, nobody mentioned Colin Kaepernick's name? And the last time Colin Kaepernick was in the Super Bowl, it went down to the last possession. And nobody never said reference to this, sort of like this when it came down to the last few. And they had a very consistent effort. Because I've been watching the pregame shows, and nobody never mentioned it. And doing that broadcast, nobody mentioned it. So it's a unique situation, man. Unique situation. How they just trying to erase the memory of this guy from the general public's mind.
What when you think about it, the NFL started in a couple of weeks ago with their campaign. Remember, they aired a couple of commercials that were against, I guess, showing their new stance behind police brutality, right? And I was reading in the Daily Beast, and they mentioned, and they summed it up very eloquently when they and captioned this whole moment, this whole NFL's new stance with their political ads. They say, if there was ever a case for hating the messenger, not the message, this would be it. If there ever was a case for hating the messenger, obviously, think about it, because this is what, no matter what you heard, this is what primarily,
and Jimmy,
Colin Kaepernick was taking a knee for.
Some people don't like you. Some people don't like you.
And that's the whole thing.
What if I tell you I know some players, a lot of players don't like it? I just don't want to say it bring it up. What if I tell you that?
And that's going to be a fair assessment of many in the NFL or many professional athletes.
They didn't like Kobe.
A lot of people did not.
Yes.
A lot of people did. We know a lot of people do not like LeBron James.
Yes.
And a lot of people, and hell, we thought, guess what? LeBron is feeling real good and safe after Kevin Durant's recent moves in the past 5 years. So he's probably the most hated. Is Kevin Durant / Kyrie Irving. We know some of his teammates don't like him. Mm-hmm. So it happens.
But I ain't talking about teammates. I'm talking about people throughout the league.
Well, I'm just mentioning the teammates on those two.
Okay.
Safe. But yeah, and former teammates and players around the league. But now you think about the dots. Connect these dots. You go, and before this game, Jay-Z and Beyonce, I'm going to leave the daughter out of this, purposely remained seated during the national anthem. They weren't the only ones, but people don't understand. That's just like on the airplane, on the helicopter, the recent tragedy. Of course, Kobe and his daughter weren't the only ones, but those were the names that you run with. They were the most popular. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the story. That's just how it is when you have celebrity status. So this is actions show by Jay-Z and Beyonce deciding purposely to remain seated, that their actions showed that they were protesting, or either protesting or siding with making a statement by remaining silent on that moment by their actions. That's a statement. So now,
and Jimmy, Andre made a statement, and it's probably, we can talk about this because this gonna piggyback. And Andre Ambrose, we have talked about this subject extensively, and you might haven't been on the old chop shops, but we're gonna give you a minute of time, because he asked the question earlier, Jimmy, about the NFL, I think, disrespecting. He said, "Am I the only person who think the NFL is totally disrespectful to all black people?" Then I asked him to explain himself, and he came back and said they are sending the absolute wrong message to our kids. You can do anything in life, and we're okay with that, but take a stance for black people, and we will destroy you. I don't think the NFL, me personally, have destroyed this man. This is just my opinion. I just think they don't allow him to come and play in their club, because this it's a privilege, not a right, to play in the NFL. So me, Andre, I don't think they destroyed him because they paid him. They paid him, and Nike got a contract with Nike. I've never heard them defame. Now, our president talked about him, but I ain't heard the NFL come and said and put out a negative campaign on Colin Kaepernick, because they really want this thing to just go away. So, and you said disrespectful. Yes, it's a lot of things wrong with the NFL, but it does employ Mr. Ambrose more black millionaires than any other American industry in this, more than Walmart, more than Coke, more than all of these other companies you want to name. Go look at the Fortune 500 companies. So I'm not taking up for the NFL, but they want this thing to go away because it affects their bottom line. And I don't know, but it was too long, because Jimmy, I thought about doing it. Do me a favor, everybody, and go to YouTube and look up Steve Harvey and the NFL Honor Show. He did a monologue. I want you to take a look at that monologue, okay? And then while you're there, go to Chop Shop HTX and like and hit the bell and subscribe to our page. But I don't think they destroyed Cap, in my opinion. All they did was, hey, you can't play in our arena. So, and guess what? The XFL starting up this week, Jimmy. They haven't stopped him. I know you're shaking your head, but it's starting up. If you want to play football, see.
That wasn't the issue with Colin Kaepernick.
No. What's your issue? What you mean? So he don't want to play football? You say
he wanted to not be denied the opportunity. He wanted to prove, and he went out and set out to prove that they were colluding against him.
But he settled in that, Jimmy.
I understand. I said that he set out to do so before they settled.
Uh-huh.
He set out to do so to prove, because at first that was a movement and a gang of NFL people and owners who said that's not true. And they followed that narrative as far as they could.
Jimmy, let's say they colluded. Okay, they colluded. The owners don't want him in there. They colluded. But they didn't. Where did they damage him at? They paid him.
I understand. You damaged his ability, right?
He's not going to play in that league. I told you that. Jimmy,
the whole issue.
Jimmy, if somebody sue you, Jimmy Hicks, if somebody sue RCS Sport, one of your employees on RCS, if they sue you, it's a great chance they're not going to be able to work for you no more.
But if that's settled in the settlement, and if that is one of the terms,
I didn't talk about you and your. I said it's a great chance. Listen to what I said. It's a great chance that they're not going to be able to work for you anymore. Somebody sue me. Oh, since you don't want to say it, somebody working for me, if they sue me, their behind ain't working for me no more. I'll say it. I ain't got to be politically correct and try to beat around the bush. You sue me, you're not going to work for me again. Ever. I'm going to pay you, go do your thing, holler at you later, I'll see you later. What if those owners thought the same way? It's possible. It's possible. That's all. But you're right, Stephen Wood. A shout out to Andy Reid. No. Shout out to Andy Reid, but also a shout out to a guy, Eric Bieniemy, because we're going to keep on. I'm going to talk his name every time I can. Eric Bieniemy. And I saw something last night by Ryan Clark. Y'all, and I love Ryan Clark, but I saw something, and guess what he said? And Jimmy, this is why you have to watch your words. He said it was a hell of a chess match between Andy Reid and Robert Saleh. Saleh is the defensive coordinator for San Francisco. Why didn't he say Eric Bieniemy and Rob? So if correctly, if he would have said this, I wouldn't have mattered. If he had said between Kyle Shanahan and Andy Reid, I would have been okay. But Jimmy, he said it was a chess match between the defensive coordinator over here. He should have mentioned a parallel on Kansas City side, Eric Bieniemy. I am really pissed off at, and it might have been a slip of the tongue, but us, we got to make sure that happened because Terry Bradshaw had let me tell y'all something. The pregame show, I know y'all probably didn't see it. Terry Bradshaw, they start singing what his name? Patrick Mahomes praises. All the other commentators on the set. Do you know what Terry Bradshaw said? Whoa. John Elway was just that talented. Somebody else was just that talented. Everybody, because they was just singing the praises of Patrick Mahomes. He was like, oh, no, he ain't that bad. No. I said, wow. And then after the game, he up there, pulling his chain and sucking him off. Unbelievable. But Ryan Clark, us, black people, we got to watch our words. That man mentioned Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator, versus Andy Reid instead of Eric Bieniemy. If we not respecting it, how we expect somebody else to respect it? Ladies and gentlemen, wow. Unbelievable to me. But keep going. I know y'all might not look at it like that, Jimmy. I just think a lot different. I think a lot different. And I know how these owners work. And I know how this industry works. We can't afford that, Ryan Clark. So who all you tweeters, because I don't tweet and mess with people. All you tweeters, who like to go back and tweet at people and mess, go to Ryan Clark and bring that up to him. Please. Yeah.
Bring it up to him.
Yeah, you tweeters. All you people who got, y'all don't mind tweeting to people. I'm not, me. Stop it, Clarence Harris. But what else you had, Jimmy? I mean, I had to go there.
That's pretty much it for the Super Bowl, guys. Now we're officially on the back nine, and we can go and shift gears and talk a little hoops. Of course, I want to remind you, as every Monday, the Associated Press has just released their top 25 rankings, and Baylor remains atop the poll. Baylor Bears, they're rolling, guys, and a lot of people around the country. I'm talking to various coaches, and they are respectful, very respectful of the job that Scott Drew and his staff and his program is doing. I mean, you're talking about. I mean, I've had the opportunity to visit those guys with the program during the off season and kind of understand a lot of the people that they are one of the programs. Let me just get to it, that they actually recruit certain types of players and certain types of players that they won't touch at all. And teams that have not won national championships, have not been to Final Fours of the NCAA tournament, often aren't dealt with that type of luxury. And for a coach to keep his job as long as Scott Drew has. Only Bill Self has been a head coach longer in the Big 12 than Scott Drew. It's been a complete turnover in that entire conference. In some cases, 2 or 3 times at some jobs. And he's still standing. And I remember one coach was telling me and reminding me the story of when he got there, and Jerome Tang was the head coach at Heritage Christian. That's a private school that's located about 30, 40 miles outside of Houston, right? Going up 59 north on the other side of Kingwood, you get to Cleveland, Texas. Well, Jerome Tang at the time had no college degree. He had played, mind you, but Tang was that Heritage Christian. They were kind of public enemy number one at that time. There was a complete just an atmosphere in Greater Houston where you had the public schools, you had the private schools. The public schools did not like playing the private schools. Now, mind you, around this same time, Hal Pastner was hosting the Academy National Invitational. You guys remember that? Houston versus the which turned into Houston versus the Nation. But those same public schools would play private schools from out of town. That would, they would play, Oak Hills and the St. Pat's and all those guys. They would play those guys, but didn't play locally. And Tang, a lot of high school coaches did not like Tang because that Heritage Christian, which featured Cedric Hensley, Lamar Hurd, Von Wafer, and guys like that, kids were starting to flock away and wanting to transfer to Heritage Christian, which if you build it, they're going to come. Well, Scott Drew gets the job, and there were so many people that had told Scott Drew, if you hire this guy, don't come recruit none of our players. It was pretty much a mutiny of coaches. Once again, because it was school districts had grown to that stance, taking that stance. Tang, don't you come in our gym. I remember, it was like that. So Scott Drew still, he talked with, I think, Hal Pastner. Hal Pastner explained to him, man, Tang, and then certain other people he would talk to explain, hey, man, Tang, the person, he was assistant pastor at the church. So you're talking about a guy that, didn't curse, didn't smoke, didn't sip anything out of red wine, and that would probably be on first or fourth Sundays, and he hired him anyway. And I told Tang when he got hired, I said, Tang, if y'all win, trust me, people gonna want to come to Baylor. His first Tang, one of their first prize recruits was Tweety Carter out of Louisiana. Tweety Carter is the all-time leading scorer in Louisiana basketball history. He might for one while he was an all-time leading scorer in the country. I don't know if anybody's broken that yet because he started playing varsity in the 7th or the 8th grade. So they counted all that. Those numbers were crazy. Tweety Carter came there and had a good career. And if you look in this past weekend, the reason I'm going so long on Baylor, guys, is because of the fact that your heart couldn't help but be proud for young King McClure as he was in the real studios of ESPN this past weekend while they were broadcasting some of the games. So he's, and he's just 1 year. He was on the team last year. So he's going to think of, if he lasts, which he will, because they don't give you jobs like they put you in the main studio to do the halftime broadcast. If that means that's a promotion. You get paid the same money and get to sit there and only get to talk about the halftime, pregame, halftime, postgame. Guys, shout out to the Baylor Bears. University of Houston took one on the chin to Cincinnati. One of their star players bit a young man on the leg.
And lied.
And tricked the coach, because if you go to your coach and your coach trusts you, you're the leader, and your coach look the coach in the eyes during the timeout and say, "Coach, I didn't do that. I ain't biting. They lying."
He might not have his pregame meal, Jimmy.
He went Evander Holyfield. Mike Tyson on this boy's leg. Now, Kevin Sampson went out on the ledge in the press conference, in the post-game presser, and said, my kid didn't bite that. He didn't bite him. You know why? Because he believed. He didn't bite him. Then a day later, after he saw film, Kevin Sampson did the right thing. He reversed his stance, and they've suspended the young fellow. What's his name? Giroux?
Yeah, Dejan Giroux.
Dejan Giroux, suspended him for 1 game. And that's rightfully so.
You had to, Jim.
Yeah, that's rightfully so, because that means now you're suspending him for lying and for doing it, the act.
Why was he biting? Do anybody know him? Somebody let me know, man. Because why he biting why he bite a dude? I can understand if you're a bit of woman, but don't bite no dude.
and of course the Cougars, that one suspension is a home game where the Cougars will host Tulane on Tuesday night. Tulane is in dead last right now, and in that conference. That's
and that what that man said. I'll be dang if I'm dead last.
A lot of people, they get and it's it's not funny, but it's a lot of the conferences such as this and this American conference, people just totally, it's like they respect this, they respect the Memphises and they respect the Cincinnatis, they respected UConn until they kind of like a changing of the guard for UConn, lost a lot of their fears. But they respected Wichita State. They respected SMU when Larry Brown got there, after he got there. But then, Houston had to earn it, which is rightfully so. Sometimes you got to earn that respect. Tulsa is earning it right now. Tulsa's in first place in this conference. Who saw that coming? Frank Haight was on the bubble before the season ended. That's how you keep your job and earn some bread, the old-fashioned way. So shout out to Frank Haight. Think about that, Adam.
Did you see the situation between the young man who hit the buzzer beater, and his dad, his first time his dad saw him play in college? Because I guess his mom and dad, I don't know, I'm just reading it through. The kid was crying, just say he's just glad his dad was there. I had that, I thought I had that video queued for us, but I'm gonna have it because it's a unique situation, Jimmy, that the kid just broke down. Did you evidently you didn't see it? Did you see it?
I saw a piece of it. I came in over the weekend. It came on my line. I didn't even watch it.
It was on national TV, and I just do the Super Bowl and all this stuff I had to do. But I'm gonna have it for you tomorrow. Y'all can go check it out. But it's a unique situation. Dad, the stepdad and the mom had everything to do with the recruiting. So they boxed the dad out. Seemed like to me, and the kid was just glad that he hit the buzzer beater to win the game, and his dad was there to share with him, man. The kid cried like a baby, man, in the press conference. But I'm gonna have that for you tomorrow, for y'all tomorrow, just in case.
Yeah, give a shout out to Melvin Marks, who's over at Lone Star College. He's the basketball coach over there, guys. Unsigned seniors right now. you might want to, you got some out there that's on the timeline, you might want to tag Melvin Marks and hit him up. And, it's a stepping stone. It's a community college, but it's a way to keep the ball bouncing. Some of the young men. Also, give a shout out to Jeff Johnson. See you, Jeff, over in the east, over on the east side.
Jim, I got something for you though. Remember, high school basketball worth. So don't forget.
Let's slide on over before we slide on out of college basketball. I want to give a shout out to the TSU Tigers.
Yeah. Is that Anthony Weston School?
They beat Alabama A&M this past weekend.
Is that Anthony Weston School?
Yeah, beat the stuffing.
So it's a Alabama and Alabama State and Alabama A&M are two same college in the same conference?
Yes, two different colleges in the same conference.
The same conference. Okay.
And,
all right.
And TSU beat up on both of them this past week. Did the Alabama two-step on those guys. And however, I think it was I know they beat Alabama A&M on Saturday.
Uh-huh.
And Prairie View lost.
Mm-hmm.
So this makes TSU in first place.
Oh, Prairie View lost.
Prairie View got upset this past weekend. So I want to give it. No. So that means now, guess what happened Saturday?
What happened Saturday?
TSU Prairie View Part 2 is this coming Saturday.
Up there at the Dome.
At the Dome.
With everybody in school.
The school is in. You see how the disadvantage? That's what I'm talking about earlier. It's a disadvantage. Luckily, TSU won the game the first time they played.
Right.
But Prairie View gets a home court advantage. The true element of it. Because school is in. And it's not
what about St. Thomas, Jimmy? Jimmy, I didn't know St. Thomas was rolling like that.
Which St. Thomas?
St. Thomas
the college. Yes, and give a shout to St. Thomas. Hey, man.
Anthony Medina.
Funky Cole Medina. And once again, University of St. Thomas. And I posted a tweet over this past weekend congratulating them 19-1. They're 19-1, guys. And here's the thing. People try to make excuses. I've heard people send me messages and stuff say, well, they were NAIA and just moved into D3. Okay. Incarnate Word was an independent moved over into the Southland. So did HBU. People make moves at a certain point in time. Guess what? You're still going to expect it to go and win with what you got. Those players, it's not like they went Division I. They went D3, NAIA to D3. I understand. NAIA is a big jump because the criteria to get in those schools is much different than a D3. I do understand that. However, for this guy to go 19-1, I'm talking about what my point is with Anthony Medina is the fact that this is a head coach that has opened his doors to the basketball community and basically embraced Greater Houston High School basketball. Rucker on Wood, the Open Gym Series, which is held every late August of every year. He does the initial stretching and the initial workouts for those guys during Rucker on Wood each of the past 3 years. He don't have to do that. He can get one of his assistant coaches to do that. Think about it. That's especially, and he always tell me the 12th graders are the most fun for him to do. You know why? Because he get to learn so much about habits and who's paying attention. And these same kids that won't be able to play, don't be able to buy their way onto his team. They don't know it. They'll sit there and act like and go half through the motions, half through the drills, and he's watching them. He's evaluating.
Jimmy, you know what? I love that coaching staff. Man, I saw them coaching staff so much this year at different schools, but especially at Hightower. Those guys don't play, man. I like people that grind like that. They're awesome to me, man.
Yeah, and
Jimmy, one of our young players from Houston, you remember they used to play for Langham Creek, Bronson Evans, played for TJ Ford and them. He played for that Shriner school that played against them the other day. Remember the kid I told you when I first brought him to TJ Ford? He couldn't chew gum and walk at the same time. Now he playing college basketball, y'all. Bronson Evans, let me see you get in the game last night. Yeah, Jim. Oh, 2, 3. Jimmy. 2, 3. He started.
Really?
Yes.
That's understand. There's a school for pretty much.
Wow.
If you're taking care of your business, there's a school out there. The thing is, most people are in the wrong line. It's like going to the grocery store. You got 10 items in your cart, and you're gonna stand in that long line. There's a line for you.
Jim.
It say go in this line with 15 items or less. You can come in this line. Why you standing in that long line?
Jim.
You're not gonna. That ain't the schools for you.
I don't even think you know, Jimmy. I don't think people know the gravity and the biggest. Jimmy, I remember I called you and asked you a long time ago. I didn't say nothing about the kid. I said, what kind of man is that coach over there? You remember that? And you called me and said, man, that's a good dude. That's a good dude. Because I thought the kid, I thought he was giving your young man the shaft. But guess what, Jimmy? That same coach, what's the coach's name in Langham Creek? He still checks up on the kid. And the kid thought the coach in the beginning was against him. But he still checks up on the kid right now to this day. And I just think, man, I'm going to tell y'all something. That is one of the most beautiful stories in high school basketball that I've ever seen. Because, Jimmy, I used to work the kid out, Jimmy. I knew he couldn't play at first. I taught him how to do a layup, Jimmy. The kid did, and I'll never forget my son used to come back and say, Dad, I thought you said you weren't going to never work a kid out again. I said, this kid's special to me, and I helped him, and this kid is playing, look here, y'all, college basketball right now. Hey, let me tell y'all something. Don't let nobody tell you what you can't do. Just stay diligent. If that's what you want to do, this kid playing college basketball and played against St. Thomas this weekend. Mom and dad had a chance, my family had a chance to come see him play. Unbelievable story. Great story. I'm just choked up right now, man. I'm really choked up right now, Jimmy. But Jimmy, what else you got in college? What else you got in college? Jimmy, you hit the mute again, man. Dude,
Yeah.
We can't hit a dog, man.
Yeah, and one thing about the college basketball that I glazed over, and I wanted to, because at the same time, if we're going to say it when it's up, we got to remind you guys and be consistent about it. In the loss, 64-62, U of H lost to Cincinnati the other day.
Okay.
Quentin Grimes, 4 points.
I knew you couldn't get away without saying that.
They put him back in the starting lineup, guys. They put him back in the starting lineup, and he goes and relapse. 4 points. See, one of the things is, and
Jimmy, did he do anything else? Did you watch the game?
Dude, if Jerome got kicked out of the game with 6 minutes to go, this is a one possession game, Heather, right? So this is a perfect game. But Jerome is their first option. We went to the games. He's definitely there. So their first option is gone. This was a perfect opportunity after putting Grimes back in the starting lineup to go and assume and relight your candle to say, okay, my team now.
Jimmy, what else he do? Because all you talking about, what else he do? Because I've learned from stats. Hey, I'm going to help y'all out, y'all. If y'all looked at the stat sheet of the Super Bowl game last night, ain't nowhere in the world Kansas City won that game. Nowhere in the world Kansas City won that game last night if you look only at the stat sheet.
Yeah, but the team that lose is when it gets magnified. See, that's the thing.
I understand.
The focus goes toward the losing team. So that means if you understand, 2 for 4 from the field for 4 points, Grimes. That means, once again, there's no Jerome on the court. He's your most aggressive most aggressive perimeter scorer on the team. He's gone. Now, Grimes is the most experienced now of the guards. You know, being that you started 29 games last year for Kansas, and you're coming on, you went through your trials, your turbulence at U of H, but now you're on the uptick. And that's how you're saying, scoring 15 points the other day, you know, and so now you're on the uptick. You would expect for him to go and have a moment. That's what it'd been much.
He's just not that type of player. And you would keep expecting it, and I'm keep telling you, he's just not that type of player. He's just not that type of player. It's going to take him longer. I'm just telling you.
Against UConn.
Jimmy, I understand. Against UConn, I told you. Jimmy,
okay, against SMU.
Eric Gordon had 50 against somebody, and the next game had 8.
That's Eric Gordon. We're talking about that's a pro. We're talking about a guy who's aspiring, who was rumored to be one and done.
Eric Gordon is a pro. What are you talking about?
I say Eric Gordon is a pro. We're talking about.
He was an All-American. He was a top player in the country. What are you talking about?
He's not a pro.
He's an $80 million guy. And you telling me you can't compare it?
Eric Gordon is.
Jimmy, if it can happen to Eric Gordon, it can happen to Quentin Grimes. That's all I'm saying.
Hold on. What you mean if it can happen? They don't have parallel stories in college. Their stories are not parallel.
Jimmy.
Eric Gordon went off.
College, excuse me, Jimmy. Basketball players has peaks and valleys. Jimmy Hicks, Kobe was on the bench for the first 2 years of his career. Jimmy, they had to trade Eddie Jones for Kobe to play. All I'm telling you, man, all eggs don't hatch on the same day. This guy egg just ain't hatched yet. Some days he gonna give you that. Then some days, if Jerome out, he's not gonna give it to you. I have come to the realization that that's what I'm gonna get out of Quentin Grimes. But guess what? He got all the measurables. I love his size. I love his back. And guess what? Someday he gonna still have a chance. I don't know where to play this game and make some money playing it. I don't know where. But you expect a whole lot of this cat because of his stature. But guess what? Sometimes in basketball it don't work.
Alan, it's expected once you produce it. Once you produce it, then it's expected. I'm not talking about a 50-point game. Once you make progress, then more progress is expected. That's just accountability.
I expected more too, but I'm not going to tear his head off because I know he might not just do that.
Okay, so when did I just, at what point of what I just said tore his head off? Jimmy,
first thing you bring up, he didn't have. Jimmy, okay. Why you even bring up that parallel?
That's accountability. Because here's the reason. Because if and when he scores 20 or 25 or 30, there are people in Houston that will be paying attention.
Okay. You know what? I forgot you got feuds with people in Houston.
It's not a feud.
I'm thinking about the kids.
It's paying attention. I'm not thinking about the kids. It's about accountability.
I know you are.
If you're the guy, you got to be the guy.
Okay, I am.
Be the guy.
Now, one time did you mention the 5 rebounds or the 3 assists?
They needed 2 more points, Hatter, to go in overtime.
Yes, but they didn't get it.
You started and scored 4. They needed more from you because the leader is gone.
He started, but he played for 23 minutes.
How many fouls he have, Hatter?
Let me see how many fouls he had. Oh, he didn't have no fouls. He had 4 turnovers.
Hold on. How many turnovers?
4 turnovers.
I'm
the kind of guy, I'm going to give you the whole damn picture. I'm not going to paint the one picture of the 4 points. Yes, he had 4 turnovers. Yes, he had. But guess what? You say he started the game, right? But on here, they don't have him as the starter. On ESPN, I guess you know more than ESPN. On ESPN, they don't have him as a starter.
On CBS box score.
Well, on ESPN, they don't have him as a starter.
Well, he came off the bench then. He didn't start. If you say he didn't start. On the CBS, according to Hal, he stunk. in the game. You can't defend that.
I'm not trying to defend it.
Yes, you are.
No.
You just say yes.
Tell me what I defend.
No.
Tell me how I defend it.
Now understand. If they had won the
All
game,
I said, well, excuse me, sir. I said I don't expect that 15 points against Utah you do.
So
I don't expect it.
So tell me this. What do you expect out of Boogie Ellis then? You remember at Memphis? What do you expect out of him?
Way more than this, but guess what? I ain't bringing it up every damn day after every loss. I'm not bringing it up after every loss.
You have.
No, not after every loss.
I didn't say after every loss. We ain't talking about Memphis after every loss because some losses didn't even matter at the time. Once the big fella was gone.
I made this statement. Excuse me, sir. I made this statement that this McDonald All-American is not playing like a McDonald All-American, and I'm leaving it alone. But you every day you got a fixation for this boy. You got a fixation. I mean, for some reason. I don't know. You're petty. You told me you was petty. You got a petty thing against this kid.
First team all petty. That's
I understand. So petty. Guess what?
I'm first team.
And guess what?
First team is first team.
And me personally, all I'm saying is what I'm cool. I'm cool with him. I'm not surprised that he scored 4 points because he can go some games like that.
No. It's not scoring 4 points. It's in a loss where the leader is gone. And you have an opportunity, the team in a one-possession game, and you're the next man up. That's the thing. You're the next man up.
Next man up sometimes just ain't got it, baby boy. I'm just telling you.
That's the thing. So it's not him scoring 4. It's scoring 4 in
Jimmy,
a loss.
Every time U of H plays, you have to have a narrative about Quentin Grimes. So guess what? And that's my narrative about him. I don't mind you having your narratives. I can have my narrative. I ain't taking up for him. It's just I know how hard it is to play this damn game of basketball at a high level every day. And what you got to have on the inside of you. Some things this guy just don't have yet. And I understand it. But I'm not going to beat him up every day. Excuse me. He's not going to occupy that much space in my mind, just like Boogie Ellis is not going to occupy that much space in my mind.
Once again, Hatter, you mentioned Boogie Ellis on at least after 3 separate losses.
When somebody on the feed say something about Memphis, I don't go and bring it up. Never am I going to be a Boogie Ellis. I'm an alumni of that school. I'm not going to beat up on that kid. When
you say it was heavy trash.
Kevin Freitman, when Memphis lose or whatever happened with Memphis, Kevin Freitman brings it up on this Facebook feed. So, of course, I'm going to address it. And I just said, hold on. McDonald All-Americans are not playing like McDonald All-Americans. And Boogie Ellis is not playing like one. I would tell him that. But guess what? Now, Robert Hatter don't expect nothing out of Boogie Ellis. So guess what? Boogie Ellis don't get beat up no more. Because I know what I got. And once you realize, I know you know what Quentin Grimes is as a player, but you just said you want to be petty about it, and I understand. So I'm gonna let you be petty. It's okay. Now,
back on Quentin Grimes, he averages 12 points a game. So Troy Bieniemy, you asked, what do I expect of Quentin Grimes? In U of H's system, he averages 12 points a game. Now understand now, that was when he was playing starter minutes as all things combined. That number has decreased over the past couple of weeks. So that means I expect him to get somewhere close to his average. Average means that's a C on a report card in the point category. Other stats, of course, to be close to them as well. But in the loss, if your second leading scorer, in case you guys didn't know, 12 points a game it qualifies Quentin Grimes to be as the second leading scorer on the team. As I said a while ago, next man up. So that's all I'm saying is expected. It's magnified in a loss if you meet your quota. That team wins. That's all. That's all. So now we can roll over to some high school basketball and go up in the mailbag. And U of H, once again, they'll be in action against Tulane on Tuesday evening. I think it's an 8 p.m. tip, if I'm not mistaken. And hopefully they get in a game that they're definitely supposed to win. It's the perfect game to get back in stride. You know why? Because Giroux is suspended one game. So now that means more minutes for the rotation.
Quentin Grimes, if he don't score 12 points or his average, then he ain't good. See, somebody just brought something up. Said, Hatter, hold on, what did he say? He's supposed to be a big difference maker, Hatter. He hasn't played up to his potential since he a burger boy. And my question is to y'all, and what I always said, just maybe he shouldn't have been a burger boy. And maybe Boogie shouldn't have been a burger boy. Robert Hatter don't make him no dang burger boy. I don't have a vote. I don't rank. I don't have nothing. I just watched him play. So I have nothing to do, Rodney, with him being a burger boy. I'm talking about I've seen him play enough, and I'm not expecting that much out of him. I ain't talking about the burger no more. I'm talking about a body of work that I've seen a player play, and I don't expect that much out of him. And guess what? And I'm not going to waste my breath tearing his head off every time U of H lose by 2 points. And, well, he should have scored 2 points. No. I'm not going to do that. And that's the point I'm taking. That's all. It ain't got nothing. It's a lot of burger boys shouldn't be. And everybody, it's some burger boys this year that shouldn't be burger boys. I'm going to repeat that.
Like who?
To me.
Like who?
Always burger boy that shouldn't be burger boy.
I say you said you're some you.
I'm not going there. I'm not like you today. I'm not going to do that today.
Well,
I'm not ready.
Once again, for the accountability, 8.4 points a game.
I thought it was 12.
Is what he averaged after starting every game last year for the University of Kansas. So I don't care about you talking about the McDonald's. That's back in high school. I'm talking about the collegiate.
Somebody just brought it up on the Facebook feed, Jimmy Hicks. I'm addressing Rodney Richard. He brought it up on the Facebook feed. I wasn't talking to you.
No, but you was talking about the McDonald's component.
He brought this up. That's what he brought up. Excuse me, Rodney Richard. Excuse me. Hold on. He said he's supposed to be a big difference maker, Hatter. Hasn't played to his potential at all being a burger boy. He brought that up. I'm addressing him. I know how you feel about protecting that mess. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to him. And that's how I feel about it.
Now, once again, regardless of what a person did in high school, if you go to college and start every game at University of Kansas, and you are fortunate enough to average approximately 8.5 points a game, playing at Kansas in that conference. Then you go to University of Houston, and your averages went up. You're averaging 12. So that means in the game that you're playing against this particular teams in a loss, you score 4. There's room. There's reason.
He's taking 4 shots too.
Concern.
He took 4 shots.
Understand.
Okay.
That's his fault in regard to whatever shots he took. That's still part of him playing and that's him. That's on him. I don't care how you get it. Get it from the free throw. Be aggressive. You got to be able to find a way to get more than that. That's all I'm saying. You average 8. You started 36. I said 29. It was 36 games he started at Kansas. I didn't say played in. He started every single game. If Bill Self thought that boy was that bad, he wouldn't have started him every single game.
Jimmy, so don't you know Bill Self? And you know that's coaching staff.
Yes, I know.
You ain't
very
heard
well.
some of the stuff. I ain't gonna even go there. I don't even go there. I'm
No,
gonna leave that
very
alone.
well.
I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that
You
alone.
started every game. You averaged 8 points a game. Bottom line, 8 points a game.
And he came here to University of Houston, and he got benched on his team too. Okay, so
He's still. I'm not still. You are
you get
playing.
benched for a reason, man. You get benched for a reason.
He's averaging 12 points a game here.
You get benched for a reason.
He's averaging 12 a game.
What else college we got, man? What else college?
So
Because
that's the thing.
I got this thing, I saw, and Jeff Johnson just said it too. And Jeff, I'm glad you brought that up. Look what Jeff just wrote, Jimmy. And Jimmy, I saw something this morning, and I want you to help me out because this your wheelhouse. John Urie, the Houston Superstars, he wrote on a tweet. Somebody sent it to me because I guess I don't follow him. PJ Haggerty, 2022 class, has scored a whopping 748 points on a new team and with football players joining the team late. I don't know what the hell that means. Crosby High School. What other sophomore has done that, Eric Bossy? Wasn't talking to you now. He was talking to Eric Bossy. But no rivals love. Give him his due. That's your wheelhouse. I'm finna take my hand off of it. Do you need me to read it again?
The beginning of it.
Okay.
I want to get the number, the stat.
PJ Haggerty.
I understand that the stat is the number.
The class of 2022 has scored a whopping 748 points on a new team with football players joining the team late. Like I said, I don't know what that means. Crosby High School. What other sophomore has done that, Eric Boss? I guess he's talking about in the country. Jimmy, I'm going to let you address that because I really don't understand some of these tweets these people be tweeting. Maybe I'm going to let you see.
What it does, it just goes to show, understand something, guys. This is about as real as it gets. Let's take Crosby High School. PJ Haggerty is currently our number 2 rated sophomore in the area. Mm-hmm. He's leading all sophomores in scoring. His team is in first place. They're undefeated in district. I think 8-0 or 9-0. Crosby High School is located deep east of Houston, on the outskirts, about 20 minutes outside of Houston. Okay. The players that Crosby High School that are in their district that he's playing against, I'm going to go and pull up the district, those teams. I'm going to tell you the names of those teams that's in the district. In Crosby High School, Texas City, Galveston Ball, Friendswood, Goose Creek Memorial, Galena Park, Lee, and Santa Fe. Lee means Baytown Lee. Out of all of those other teams combined, there's not a single one of those teams that has a player with a Division I offer. When you're going and you're asking and you're questioning national rankings or national polls, what you do, mind you, PJ Haggerty is a Division I prospect without question. However, is he a top 75, top 50 player in the country? That's yet to be determined. He has to go and play and position himself by making a choice with who he's going to play with to be able to go and get in front of people or get in front of those eyes that can help determine that. Not before. You will not be ranked before nationally by Rivals or ESPN. They're not going to rank you if on those two, I know for sure, if they haven't seen you. let me rephrase that. They are not likely to rank you if they haven't seen you on either of those platforms. So, especially a sophomore that laid eyes on it all. So, understand how it goes. If you want to use that to just so PJ Haggerty's family can go rah, rah, rah and say, oh man, I like how you're fighting for my son, then that's, if people can be fooled that easily, then guess what? It's going to be one born, and I know it's understand it's going to be one born every day to come. But you have to go through the motions. Think about how.
Through the motions or the process?
Go through the process. I was using the motions in the same text synonymously, but the process, it starts now. You're looking at, and the thing is,
maybe they saw another heralded a guy that is on that thing.
And but that's normally how it goes, because you think, and you'll see where Bryce Griggs is ranked number 35 or whatever it is in the rivals, and you say, well, there's no way. How many is in that poll in that class, in that ranking? Is it 50 or 75?
I think he expanded to the 75. So
in that 75, you're saying to yourself, that kid is not 40 slots better than me. But then what you're doing is, how many of those other kids have you seen? Maybe not. But you have to get one of them in, and once there's one player that can get on the list and keep advancing upward, it makes the guy that does the list more acceptable. That he might have missed the hatching of the egg on the previous kid, and he'll welcome and embrace the next one. That's normally how it goes. Once again, so as Bryce Griggs' success, if he keeps going on the uptick, now it opens the door. It cuts the grass for PJ Haggerty now to come behind and say, okay, now you messed up. It took you a long time to get Bryce on here, and you had him at 35. Now we noticed it'd be 35, then it'd probably be 25, or then it'd be 15 or whatever. But you see the progress will open the door.
So
now what a lot of guys will do is they'll see the progress of one, and then immediately you start to piss and antagonize the guy that's doing the list. And once you antagonize the guy doing the list, he ain't gonna be he's not gonna be more likely to add you until you prove it to everybody.
Or Jimmy, and antagonize the guy on the list and hate on the one that's on the list.
That's the thing.
Did you hear what I said? Antagonize the guy that's on the that does the list and hate on the guy. You just said something I think that went over a lot of people's head. You said, as Bryce rise, in other words, a rising tide rise all the boats.
That's how it normally goes.
That's how it normally goes.
And you have to wait.
That's why I asked you to explain this, because I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Because somebody told me something that was so key in this ranking game. And when they told me with so much conviction, I just shut the hell up. And me and you, I never talked to you personally about Bryce rank. We don't. But I talked to him. I said, did it? I said, when Bryce went and played against Keontae George, a top guy, and busted his behind, did it matter? He said, no, it didn't matter. He said, it didn't matter. So I said, if Keontae had a bust Bryce the same way, get what they said? It would have mattered. I said, what? I mean, Keontae just put them people in their place. But Bryce go busting his behind by 20 points. It don't matter. That shows me how hard this ranking thing and how you have to climb up. And once they climb you up and anoint you in this ranking. It's gonna take a whole lot to get you somebody coming and beating you one week with their team. You got to do some constant. Jimmy, I never forget, Jimmy. When I first, I guess, got introduced to this stuff, when we was franchise all-stars, and Coach Henderson brought me a list of players. John Henson was a certain spot. It's the first time I got really introduced to him. He was like number 18, something like this. He was down. He wasn't ranked that high at first. John Henson from Austin, Texas, Round Rock. So Coach Henderson looked at that list and said, Robert, man, we got to get to a tournament where Derek Favors is playing. We got to get to a tournament where DeMarcus Cousins is playing. We got to get to a tournament where Ronaldo Sidney is. Those are the top 3 guys, Jimmy, that he gonna be up against. He said, Hatter, let's get to them tournaments so John can play against those guys at the right time over Spain. Jimmy, John went and mowed down every last one of them guys on the circuit, not a high school basketball game, in summer basketball, Jimmy. And guess what? All of these writers and all of these guys, I didn't even know nothing about the bosses and all of them guys. These guys were at these events. So I know that's how it can happen. So that's just my little small piece of basketball history about this ranking stuff. But now you can go. I just wanted to share that because I guess a lot of people just don't understand. But John Urie should know how this stuff works. Jimmy?
Well, that's the whole thing. It should. But then you have to realize John Urie, his angle is a different whole angle. And that's part of, he's the original hype man of Houston grassroots basketball is John Urie. Okay. Well, I'll put it like this, of the revolutionized, the millennium, after the turn of the millennium, John Urie was the first since the millennium change in the 2000s. Well, understand, guys, it's some people, and one of the things that I remember explaining this in conversations back in November when it came to the Keontae George. And I explained it because I have conversations with some of these guys on the national scale, because a lot of them guys, I mean, it's the same fraternity. And I brought the word back, and you could tell in their in their tone, their infatuations about certain players. And I say, once somebody anoints the player, it ain't nothing that you can do. He's anointed.
Ain't nothing you can do.
He's anointed until it becomes. We just talked about one that was anointed.
Yeah.
That was Quentin Grimes.
Yes.
He was anointed.
Yes.
By the Adidas side of the fence and Adidas flavor, and it just pushed on through. And he got a break, and he capitalized on that break. Remember, Bill Self coached him in USA basketball. They won a gold medal. Quentin Grimes got MVP. MVP against the international, against the world, representing the country. So he took advantage of it. Then he went, we saw him, you sat side by side. We watched him with Adidas Nations make it very obvious that Javonte Smart wasn't going to play in front of Quentin Grimes.
Yeah.
It was, now, guess what? He performed at the right time. So now back to this young man. Keontae George has been anointed. Remember, Coach K, I think it was. No, Coach Cal. Who was it? Was Cal or Coach K that came to the game? Adam? One of them, either Kentucky's head coach.
I forgot. I wasn't there.
They came to the game. They came to the game primarily to see Keontae. But it was a great matchup because he put it, when you come in to see one, you got to see two in events like that because you're going to see somebody he's against.
Right.
Those matchups are proportionally are calculated to give you, the fan, a great measuring stick. That's why Andrew Jones got his juice playing against De'Aaron Fox a few years back. Well, in this situation, it ain't down here. That's why I caution everybody in Houston. Let Keontae George be.
Yeah.
But as he goes, the door gonna be open because we've had players that have been ranked nationally in the top 10, top 5 to fall like a rock in the past 5 years. Jayla D being one that comes straight to mind. Jayla D was number 3 in the country.
At what time, though?
And he was a sophomore.
Oh.
And
yeah.
You know, so I would much rather always be on the uptick. That's the way I call it. That's my new thing now. Or is the player on the uptick or the downtick? Or is he leveled off in the same? It's kind of like in Wall Street, you're buying stocks, uptick, downtick. And that's what you kind of want to look, when you look at these kids for in a certain month or a certain span, a quarter, is this player on the uptick? For example, I can just call off a couple names off the top of my head. We mentioned U of A, Tremont Mark. He's already signed with University of Houston, but guess what? He's on the uptick.
Yes, sir.
You know, LJ Cryer.
Uptick.
Buzzer beater this past weekend. He had 45 points.
He didn't hit the shot, Jimmy.
No, I'm sorry. He had 24 points in that game.
24 and 10.
I said the team picked up a buzzer beater.
Yeah, okay.
Not he.
Okay.
He had 24 points in that win, but he's on the uptick.
Yes.
Meaning that if you're the Baylor Bears, you're saying, okay, okay, I see you, young fella. That's what I mean. You could tell some players are just not really on the, and some are, and then some are.
Right.
You guys know that. There's an unsigned senior, Jordan Ivy Kirby.
Uptick.
He had 57 the other night. He's recently qualified.
I'm so proud
academic.
Of that kid. I'm so proud
now,
of that kid.
I'm still waiting on a college, and I've spoke to a couple of them, and a lot of people have around the area. And shout out to Bobby Benjamin, the kid played with the Raptors.
Yeah.
And understand, that's the long route. You have to be prepared to walk that long route when you play on certain circuits. It ain't like it's not going to happen and it can't happen, but you have to be prepared. That's what comes with it. And it's
so what, Jimmy? What would you tell the family of a PJ Haggerty? Because we we ain't trying to sing, but what, since we talking about him, because if he expect, shouldn't he put himself in a situation where he's seen by the Eric Bosses this summer?
If that's what matters, mostly.
Evidently it matters if this man tweeting about it this morning.
Well, you understand, it's a different summer coach than what he played with before. So now John Urie, that's John Urie.
But what circuit does John Urie work plays on?
He's going to play on one of the sub circuits with either Under Armour or Adidas. You guys, but one of the sub circuits. Not the main stage. Well, not the main top shelf tier of teams. One of the sub circuits where you have to pay your way into competition. Okay. But that's what John Urie does. John Urie did the same thing with Jacob Young. Did the same thing with Joseph. I'm sorry, with Joseph Young.
But Joe Young was different. But Joe Young,
I'm just saying, did the same thing. Okay. He did the same thing. That's part of his steez. He's going to tell you that his player is the best in the world. And some people have bought all that they're going to buy from a John Urie when it comes in. And then some people, guess what? John Urie has validity because he has been the first to bang the drum on, let's say, a Jimmy Butler. And he's missed on a lot. Trust me, I remind John of that a lot.
But everybody missed, Jimmy.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I remind him, you missed a whole lot, John. He was. You know what? Jimmy Butler is an NBA megastar.
Yes, sir.
And Joseph Young has gotten a check, and shout out to Joe Young. Speaking of Joseph Young,
He was in town the other day.
yeah, he's back from China. We're going to have him on the Chop Shop on Thursday.
He was mad,
And-
Jimmy. What happened at the game over there? They put him out the game.
We'll talk about that on Thursday.
Oh, we're going to talk about it on Thursday?
And
Okay.
he's going to talk about that on Thursday and some more stuff. He's back home from China because of the coronavirus.
Oh, yes.
He had to come home for at least for a month.
Did
For
they
sure.
check Joe ass before Did they check Joe
Yeah,
before he came back?
They got to get you checked. Matter of fact, they get checked
They
twice.
sprayed him?
No, they check you before you leave, and they check you before you land because
Oh, my
some stuff can be mounting up while you're in the air.
I haven't looked up on it yet. I'm going to go look up on it now.
So
Since it's close to
Joseph
home.
Young on Thursday will be joining us, and over the weekend, one of the things you missed, of course, shout out to Yates extends their 100-point scoring streak to 13 games. So they're 2 wins away
GY.
from tying the record. Now, in the game the other night, they beat Poe Cashmere 100 and something to 19.
Hey, do you know anybody that went to that school? Huh?
What school?
Cashmere. Do you know anybody do anybody that we know that went to that school? Huh?
Went there or go there?
I'm
Went
just
there or
asking
go
for
there
a
right
friend. I'm asking for a friend.
You went there or go there right now. That's my
Who's an alumni? Do we know anybody who's an alum? No, alumni. Anybody that's an alumni at that place? Do we know anybody? Boom Boom Room.
Yeah, and this ain't the Cashmere's came a long way backwards, guys. 19 points and a loss to Yates.
Jimmy,
now,
who they got on their team, Jimmy?
You know what? Here's the thing. I haven't heard from the new coach since he took over last year.
That's messed up, man. Dude, you always talking about you put on for your hood. You ain't went down the street and go and holler at them folks.
I'm also the type, I like you to come reach out to me and I like you to put some hand in the ties. And that's also. So you saved me money from Cashmere High School. I reached out to them and let them know back during the back to school drive, which was 3 blocks away from Cashmere, that for them to come and get some of those sneakers and some of that product. Kids didn't even show up. They didn't relay a word. But meanwhile, we're talking about Yates. Their next opponent is Tuesday. They play Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Washington is on Tuesday. And that game will be held at the Pavilion. If Yates manages to score 100 points against Booker T., then the next opponent would be Friday against their arch rival, Wheatley High School. And the coach from Wheatley High School remember I told you guys over the weekend, I'm going to reach and I'm going to get the facts. The coach from Wheatley High School, he wants it to be perfectly clear that you guys understand this. And I'm going to read this. He says, we are not trying to stop Yates from getting 100. We're trying to stop them from winning. The score can be 102 to 100 as long as we get the W. So that's the comment from Lonnie Reynolds Jr., the head coach of Wheatley High School, directed to Yates and their fan base. Now mind you, Yates has unfinished business. They have to take care and get 100. If they don't score 100 against Booker T. Washington, it takes a lot of fears out the Wheatley.
So you didn't talk to the Booker T. Washington coach?
I texted the Booker T. Washington coach, and I texted him about 2 things. He replied about the other thing.
He ain't trying to get in that mess with you. Smart man.
No. Trust me. That coach, I wasn't even worried about. I know
He
that
playing
Grayson,
yeah.
he don't care about stopping them from getting 100. In other words, Grayson is not about to tell no player on this team to pass up a layup at no point in time in that game. But anyway, that's going to be interesting, and we're going to see how this thing plays out. Once again, speaking of high school basketball, you guys are welcome to send questions or pose questions to our mailbox. That's chopshophtx@gmail.com. chopshophtx@gmail.com. You can send us messages, and if you want to remain anonymous, then we will we will keep it anonymous.
Jim, I got to show y'all this, Jim. Jim, I got two things I got to show.
What you got?
Jim. Luggage on, Jimbo. Hey, y'all, I had to show y'all that. And
Yes,
Jimmy, get talking because I want to have a tribute to somebody. If y'all look at that screen tonight, it's a tribute today to Eric Bieniemy. Don't think I forgot about him, Troy. Chief Offensive Coordinator and Super Bowl champion. Of course, I was not. Jimmy, let me tell you something, man. Jimmy, it's the first time a black quarterback had a black offensive coordinator running the ship also. I was not going to go this day without giving my tribute to Eric Bieniemy. Shout out to him, champ. And just Jim, I got some more stuff to talk about because it's Black History Month this month to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. Jimmy, I went and studied up your boy Lloyd Wells. Intriguing man. I mean, it's just, Buck Buchanan, all of those guys. But I just wanted to share that with you before we got off the show today. That's what Floyd Mayweather had on, ladies and gentlemen, in his luxury box at the Super Bowl this weekend. It's just, come on, Jimmy. That's your cousin, like I said.
And
I couldn't be.
I was replying to a couple of people in the Boom Boom Room.
Okay.
And one of them, I guess Jeff Johnson, he sent the comment when we mentioned about Yates.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Is Yates playing anybody?" And remember the question earlier, what team that's currently right in first place in their district are ranked in the top 20 in Greater Houston has Yates beaten, has Crosby beaten. So, and it's not a disrespect to the schedule. These kids don't make their schedule in advance.
Yeah, but Yates beat Martin Ranch.
And that's what I put in the Boom Boom Room that as a reply to remind you guys. Yates beat a Martin Ranch that was healthy in the season opener. They beat a Martin Ranch that had two major Division I signees in uniform. So that's the thing that I'm saying. When you get the wins, it's the wins versus the Division I players, especially if y'all the same position. That matters. It doesn't matter greatly. You understand? Wins against good teams. For example, let's say what's the highest ranked team we have out there that don't have a Division I prospect on it? Right now, at this time, it would be North Shore Mustangs. So North Shore has nobody on the team with a Division I offer. They're number 9 in the area. North Shore is 27-3. But North Shore, their only 3 losses, Beaumont United, Travis, and Hightower beat them by about 30 in the championship of the Fort Bend tournament, right? But North Shore has good wins over, they beat Travis as well. They beat Martin Ranch. They beat Beaumont Westbrook. They beat Episcopal. They beat Bush, Summer Creek, and Bel Air. Quality wins. That's when you look at, and it doesn't mean that a player is not that good. It just means that don't expect for people to embrace your performances against future intramural kids.
And they shouldn't.
And it's like Jordan Ivory Curry. He scored 57 the other day. Guess what? We're taking him, we were clapping and running with it.
Mm-hmm.
Kid from Silsby, he scored 52 twice or 3 times this year.
Mm-hmm.
We're running with it. And once they both played each other. And Jordan Ivory gave him 60.
Mm-hmm.
That means something. When you put 60 on Braylon Bush, who has a Division I offer from Longwood, and you know, but it means more. It adds more value. Now, if you go and you do the same thing, what adds more value, if you go and you win and you outplay a kid has a national ranking. Or put like this, let's skip over a step. Who has a state ranking. So if a kid is ranked in the top 50 in the state, that means he's a Division I prospect, because this state annually yields about 60 to 70 Division I prospects from Texas. 75, somewhere around, I think, remember Blue Zertucci from Texas Hoops gave us those numbers last year. And I get the updated ones from the class of 2019 as to the Division I signees. And we'll get the ones from 2020 as well, because now it's only going to be maybe about 5 to 10 that will sign Division I that aren't signed yet. Maybe 10 to be safe around the state. So you guys got to understand, you can't trick this stuff. You could try, but what you're gonna do, you're gonna burn yourself, and people don't know what angle you're coming from, trying to trick it. I welcome you guys again. If you got any questions, you can send me a DM, right? Or you can send a text, an email, and I get to all questions. I've answered all of them. I thank you guys, and thank you guys for supporting the Chop Shop. Make sure you share the show before you get up out of there.
Yes.
Especially on a Monday, right?
Oh, yeah. And then go over to YouTube and like and share our page on YouTube. Like and hit the bell. That's what I found out. You like and hit the bell. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. And Jimmy, I think I had one more thing before we got out of here. I wanted to give you some information. No, don't worry about it. We good. Oh, yeah. It's NBA trade deadline week. So in the next couple of days, probably by the time we get off the show, there's going to be some trades happening this week, because it's the deadline. Deadline is on Thursday. What you laugh about there, Jimmy?
I was laughing. Michael Jordan says he has it Hightower versus Marshall tomorrow night. And
I told him don't start no mess either. That's what I told him. Michael Jordan.
And that's Chris Marshall versus Bryce Griggs. And Bryce Griggs got the win. I heard both players did well, but Bryce outplayed him and got the W. And Chris Marshall is a Division I prospect. But Chris Marshall will have to get over this hurdle and bounce back and show that you can get that you can outplay and beat Bryce Griggs. That would get people's attention. Otherwise, you got to sit back you got to sit on back down. That's another young man that you can hear John Urie is probably going to be banging the table to be in them 2022 national rankings. And that's pretty much it, guys.
It's it, Jimmy. That's it.
Look at the clock, man.
You're in overtime.
Big game tonight, guys. It's only one game. It's not really big, but Madison is playing Sharpstown, and I think I might go check that one out to see Josh Farmer versus Moore Jr. 7 p.m.
Where
at the Pavilion.
Oh, hell no. That's on your side. Hell no. I ain't going.
And yes, we have news, Rod Wills, thank you, on the UIL alignments. Mm-hmm. I've posted the new districts for all classes on the front of the website at rcssports.com. Well, I posted 4A, 5A, and 6A. You can go and get those and print your own copy. I posted those earlier this morning. Also, we have the brand new district standings are posted on the website, as well as the VIP news is updated. So go to RCS Sports, get all of that. Got a nice heap of info for you guys. Pay attention. We're updating this thing, this website, and it's for you guys to just keep abreast of what's happening in the community. And the realignment info, thanks for Angel earlier, we forgot to mention, North Shore and Summer Creek will finally play, but it won't be this year. They will play in 2021. How about North Shore and Shadow Creek will reportedly open the season this year with a doubleheader. A doubleheader at North Shore High School. North Shore will play California's one of their premier football programs, De La Salle.
And who is Shadow Creek gonna play?
They're gonna play a team from out of Philly, I think. I can't think of the name of the team. And one of you guys can help me on that.
Kevin Drones. Yes, sir. But yeah, man, let's slide down Dino's back.
Yeah, man, that's good. And shout out to, I see you guys out there, Michael Jordan. Thanks. And listen, Michael Jordan, that ball come out of bounds. Don't do like the other referee Wagner and don't get a ball to the team. He mentioned that's the wrong thing a referee should say on the timeline last week. Remember he said when the other Yates scored, when the other team turned the ball over in the closing moments, he didn't hand the ball to Yates on purpose to let the clock go and run out because he felt Yates was going to try to score again. Come on, you got to get out the way of that. Don't do that. But anyway, y'all take it easy, guys. Share the show. We'll see you guys on tomorrow on the Chop Shop. We're going to talk some NBA stuff. We're going to we're going to talk to the Rockets, a couple of trades that we know is brewing. We'll let some of that out the bag and break the news on some of those. Well, not break the news on the rumors about some of those, and as well as some other stuff. You guys hang in there. Be careful, man.
See y'all later.
Chop Shop.
We out. Let me hit that button on y'all.
Jim Hicks, Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it.